Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. We are going to continue with our coverage of Northern Kingdoms that we went to. It was event 8, I think it was.
Well, you went to. Of course, I did.
I went to. You did not.
But I have had a real good time going on this journey with you, learning about all the things that you have been talking about. It's been. I've hopefully, dear listener, you've been enjoying this with me. It's great to talk about.
The good stuff is yet to come. It's all good, but the great stuff is yet to come. Go for a little battle in the woods, have a big old ding-dong, they save my brother's life again, Dr. Portal, get back to camp. We're hanging around, basically if you wear heavy armour, you can feel my pain on this. Literally, we got back, I took the armour off, I took off my gambeson, and my undershirt was just drenched, absolutely drenched. I had to take it off. I was so glad I bought so many. Not that anyone could see underneath my gambeson, but I had in character underneath. Yeah, I swapped out 3 times because of the amount of sweat that I had, and basically had to hydrate constantly because of how much I was fucking sweating so much in this armor. And we're hanging out, and I'm decompressing, and then the sorceresses come up that I mentioned in the last episode. And they're she's like, oh no, help, please, help, I need help. And we were like, we are here to help. What is the problem? And she's like, I've lost my flowers. She had a flower crown. Okay?
Amazing.
Please, I need some chivalrous knights to come and help. And we look at each other and oh God. And we're like, well, we will help you find your flowers. And we get up and have to go and try and find this crown of flowers that she's got.
Amazing.
We walk up and down the camp and asking people if they've seen the flowers, and we look around and we can't find any. And basically what happened was they had actually given it to someone else to go and hide.
Right.
We are not the most perceptive people. Wherever these flowers were, we could not find them.
Yeah.
So what we did was, the next best thing, we went around and asked characters that had flowers on their kit to nick their flowers, and we also picked some flowers.
Amazing.
So we picked flowers, got the flowers off people's kit, so we came up to them and went, we have not found it, but we found these, maybe they will do for the time being.
That's cool.
And she was happy about that, but I still wanted the flowers. So then we promised that we would find flowers and give them to her next time we saw her, so she can make a new crown type thing.
Yeah.
So it's us trying to be chivalric knights. Really love that. All player led. That's really cool. Really fun. Just silly Dubois action. Yeah. Really, really good. The flower knights or whatever, trying to find flowers. Really fun. Love that. Then this knight comes into the town. Okay, into the town, the camp, and we're he's like, I hear you are from Toussaint. And we were like,
we directly approaches you guys.
Well, I think he had heard that there were some Toussaint nobles there. And we were like, yeah, we are from Toussaint. And he's like, I seek the Lady of the Lake. This is my he's a knight errant, and this is his quest, right? And we're like, what is this woman in the lake? What does she do? And she says, well, I must find her out, and then I will, I've completed my quest. And it's like, what do you want from her? He's like, I want nothing from her, but it's part of the thing to find her. And we're like, well, we do not know what the Lady of the Lake is, but we are from Toussaint. We are going to head back there soon, and you may join us, and we will help you with local contacts, and you can come to the vineyard. We'll put you up in a cottage, and all this stuff, right?
That's really cool.
He was like, and we were like, maybe we can fight some nils while we're there. And he was just like, yeah, I mean, if you help me, I'll help you. And we're like, well, it is a deal then, blah, blah, blah. And we're talking. And it's really fun NPC, not NPC, crew interaction, getting to kind of have this conversation with this person. Then we get approached by one of the witches, okay? This witch is called Diakill, is his name. All the witches are edgy as fuck. But they're so cool. They have contact lenses for their eyes. They carry 2 swords. Fucking witches.
They have a restriction on the amount of witches that can be in a game, don't they?
Do they? I don't know.
I think they did. I had a brief. Maybe I'm talking about my arse here. I had because I was going to go and I had a quick look at the rules.
Yeah.
And I think there's a certain quota. So you obviously don't have 50 witches,
dude.
Right?
Witches are awesome.
Yeah.
I never want to play a witcher.
Yeah.
That's not something I'm into. But the witches as a thing in the camp are awesome, and we always like the Dubois have always thrown shade at the fucking witches, and the witches have always thrown shade at us because we're too silly and they're too serious. Okay, it's like an unstoppable object meets an unstoppable object meets a movable object or whatever, and it's like really really fun interacting with these people. But then Will comes up and he's just like, "Do you think you could blow up a rock troll?" And we're like, "With enough explosives, you could blow up the world." You know what I mean? Like, we're in. So they were talking about there potentially being this rock troll for us to go on, and we were just like, way too excited. Okay, like a fucking rock troll. Are you serious? We're in. Like, it's like it's very dangerous, and you have to follow. Yes, it's like you have to follow our instructions. Yes, whatever it takes.
Son of a bitch. I'm in.
Son of a bitch. I'm in. Like, fucking blow up a rock troll. Hell's fucking yeah. Like, this is what it's all about, right? So, and then. We go back and we find out what happened with our mercenary companies, and we send them off again. This time it was there was a hanging tree with like on a main road,
right?
And there was discussion about like couriers going through that area, a bunch of other stuff. Other people, there's a few, okay, and some of the units got held up by doing a fight where they were still engaged in that fight. They were going to win, but they were delayed. So there was like less units, so we couldn't take advantage of all of the options, right? And me, like, I'm terrible in D&D and any other game. I hate leaving food on the table. If you tell me there's something in those caves and we're like, well, we don't have much food and need to move on, I'm like, yeah, but we could go in the fucking cave and have a look, right? Like, so it always bothers me and stuff like that. But for us, there was also talk of a ferry crossing. Okay, so we were like, there was like, so the land snakes were going to go off and do the ferry crossing, and they hadn't used the explosive. Okay, so we were like, oh, you can keep the explosive, use it on the ferry or whatever, you know, like get that sorted. So they went off and did that, and we went off to the crossroads. I'll skip to when we found out, but. We went there with the they were like, I can't remember what they called them, the bastards or something, the thuggish mercenary group that we have, and our lot went off. Oh, I forgot, there was also, I think that happens later, but I'll mention it. One of the commanders for one of the groups, who was the Pathfinders, a Redanian, was like, came to the camp and was kicking off about how the fact is that we were no longer in the service of the Redanians and we're in the service of somebody else. And we're like, listen, we're a mercenary company, right? Like, and he was like, well, what happens if someone attacks our homes and we're not there to defend them? It's just like, well, you're a mercenary. Like, you made this choice. And it really kicked off, right? Like, and they weren't available for some of the missions.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, one time, someone didn't write down the orders, so no, they didn't go.
Oh, right.
That was another thing that happened. So no orders were sent, so therefore the thing didn't happen. But we went to the hanging tree. We scouted it out with our light cav. Turned out that there were actually a whole shitload of undead there or something, but our the guys got involved and our cavalry rode in and absolutely decimated the fucking undead, and like it was just like, yeah, Knights of Dubois, motherfuckers, like absolutely wrecking it. When the there's other ones, like there were caves, and when they went in the caves there were loads of the monsters and stuff, so it was like all this stuff is really cool, great lore, really adds to the world that we're living in. Anyway, the land snakes loved us, right? Because we gave them a bomb and stuff. They gave us a fucking actually no, I'll save that for the next day. But like like we like these people a lot, okay? Carry on writing ridiculous letters. Now we're writing like the whole bottom half of the letter is X's and kisses and things like this, okay? Really stupid. We then a noble from Toussaint arrives, who is the same noble that arrived when I went to the previous event. And this guy is called Beau Duval, okay? And he is, he's got a blonde wig on, he's ridiculous. This man is so extra, it's like, but we kind of don't get on. He kind of calls everyone peasants, he kind of like, he insulted our wine. It's like,
right,
you don't fucking insult wine. Like we every time you talk about nilfs, we talk about the nilfs. their wine tastes like shit, and then we spit on the ground, right? Like every time we talk about it. So, and we are nobles and pricks about it, right? We're like, oh, peasants and bloody blah, and we're like, we're noble douchebags, right?
Yeah.
But this guy called us peasants, right? And it was just like, oh, do you want to play this gambling game? He was like, oh, gambling is a peasant's thing, and we're like, oh, we don't like this at all, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of rubbing us the wrong way. But then we're kind of... then we hear about... there's... the lady... These two... this is when the knight errand's around. These two peasants arrive, and they're like villagers. And they're like, oh, we're going to go and see the Lady of the Lake.
Right.
And we're like, hey!
Ding, 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 ding.
Dude, Lady of the Lake. Let's go and see the Lady of the Lake. So everyone goes. We all get suited up, the whole fucking camp. And then we head off, and we walk through the woods. And then we come down into this like bit, and there's like a small, like a large pond type thing. Okay, surrounded on the other side are these three women, and they're yelling, "Oh, the mother, the holy mother," or whatever the fuck the line was. And there's like a congregation of these cultist types, and we're like, "Oh my god, this is
gonna be bad.
This is some bad shit, right?" And then so everyone's kind of hanging over there. Beau Duval heads over and starts talking to them, and then. Oh, fuck it, and we're going like, it's going to be some sort of hag, isn't it, right? Like, he's going to be a hag. And it's just like, and then a hag comes out, right? And it's very confused and very chaotic, right? All I can do is speak for what I did in this, which was like, people were like, oh, we shouldn't just cut down the fucking villagers, right? But they're trying to get in our way and all this stuff, and it's all very chaotic. Some villagers might have got stabbed a little bit. I'm not going to say they weren't, right? Like, but there was... Remember I told you about the guy with the spoon that attacked my brother on the first day?
Yeah.
He was down on the ground and dead, okay?
Dead?
Yeah, dead. And I lean over and I go to him, like in the fight. He got killed in the fight somehow. And I lean over there. I go, that's what you get for fucking with the Dubois. And... the Gobi guy, he went down and someone was like, you have to help him, and I was like, no. And carried on walking. The Dubois hold a grudge, okay? Like, but like, so it all kicks off, we fight our way through, and then I don't know how it happened, but there was like a lull in the fighting, and then we were told that they ran away. And we were all dealing with the wounded and everything else. And then we were like, oh, we should give chase type thing. So we walk around this path, head up to the hill, and then come round to this section. And there's the hag there, okay? And a few of the cultists are there as well. And I kind of charge forward to get involved, okay?
Right.
And then the hag turns to me and goes, it's like, not Igni. It's one of the mind control ones from The Witcher. I can't remember which one that is. But she was like, I have to go... Sorry, what does that mean? And it's mind control. And then she starts beckoning me forward, and I'm like, ugh, and I drop my, like, I have my shield down by my side and my sword down by my side, and I start walking over. And then the hag, like, slashes me twice in the chest.
Jeez.
So I'm like, dude, I'm being hit by a hag. I gotta fucking... So I throw myself back onto the ground, okay? And just kind of, like, just... throw myself back onto the ground. I'm like, oh my god, and I'm grabbing my chest, and then immediately comes over and goes, here's a traumatic wound card, okay? Like, I'm like, and then they managed to get me out. Something happens over there. I think they kill the hag. Something happens. Anyway, I'm obviously going full bore, I'm dying type shit, okay? Yeah. They drag me over. They look at the card, and they're like, oh shit, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to put a bandage on me. Dr. Portal. Oh, there's no physics. There's no physics nearby. So everyone's yelling for physics. And it's like, so as soon as I hit the ground, I take out my pocket watch and I take a look at the time. Because I'm like, I want to know how long I've been on the ground for. Yeah. So a referee comes up to me and goes to me like, how long have you been down? I go, 4 minutes. Okay? Yeah. And it's like, so then Dr. Portal comes over, puts a bandage around my neck, and they're trying to welcome me, and I'm like going, and I'm going, I'm getting cold, I'm too cold, and I'm like doing stuff, and I'm like, I can see my mother is talking to me, and then I think the referee starts doing dialogue of my mother talking to me.
Amazing.
And I'm like going absolutely ham. this is really dumb, but Nick, Dr. Portal, he goes, "Are you okay with something?" and has a small capsule. I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." I like a good patient. As soon as he puts the capsule in my mouth, I just swallow it. Because I'm a fucking idiot.
Right.
What it was
a blood capsule.
It was a blood capsule. Well, I'm so glad you get that. In the moment, I was very excited.
I can't believe you just swallowed it.
I just swallowed it down.
Oh my god, you fucking idiot.
I'm a good patient. And he was just like, "What did you do with the capsule?" I was just like, "I swallowed it." And he was like, "It's a blood capsule. You're supposed to bite it." And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. I'm
so
such
funny.
a fucking moron."
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
So
I can't believe you did that.
So dumb. I am, if anything, a fucking moron. But
oh god, that was so good.
The fucking, yeah, I know.
That's really bad, Dave. That's really bad.
Really bad. Isn't it?
Like on so many levels. On so many levels, that's really bad.
Good thing this isn't being recorded or anything, and there weren't loads of people nearby me when I swallowed the fucking capsule.
Carry on. Sorry.
So I'm dying, and the referee's got a stopwatch out. Okay, and he's looking at the stopwatch, and Nick's trying to do as good as he can, trying to heal me. Another physic comes on, and they're frantically working on me as well. It's crazy intense.
Yeah.
And then the referee's looking at his clock and just goes, "Your okay, your patient is stable."
Amazing.
I was like, "You son of a bitch." Do you know what I mean? Like, it was so good. The pause, the hesitation was amazing. And there was like the relief from everyone around me was like, "Oh my god, like that was close. That was very fucking close. Like, never leave your house without a fucking a portal doctor, basically." Again, another time that Dr. Portal saved our fucking lives, basically. Absolutely fucking incredible.
He needs like the Flying Doctor's theme at this time.
He's amazing. He's the best. Like, he saves us all the fucking time.
Sounds crazy.
Because of basically, as I'm on the ground, I'm about to get up. One of the referees comes over and goes and gives me a fate token. A fate token is when you do something epic or good RP or something. It's like a reward token. And basically what it does is you can play your fate token. Say, for example, you're bleeding out.
Yeah.
You can fate token your way out of it. You can
it's like break the rules of the game, kind of.
Break the rules of the game for one thing. So I had this fate token for that, and I thought that was basically they gave it to me because the line that Simon said to me was, "Because you take your hits like a champ." And I think it's because I literally just I threw myself on the ground and I really played it up, you know. But I really appreciate that. I love that. It's like
that's really cool.
You know, when you get like a inspiration dice in D&D, it's always nice, and it's always nice when like a DM gives it, and then the whole team's like,
earned.
You deserved it. Like, that was great. It, really, really nice. Another captain's meeting. But then, okay, later on they were like, it's starting to become dusk. Like, dusk is what it is, okay?
Yeah.
Sun's starting to come down, and they're like, "Oh, you're not going to go on the troll mission." And we're like, "What?" Like, OCIC, we want to go fight a fucking troll with the witches, okay? Why would we not? So we walk over there, and I just it's like, "You're too loud." You know what I mean? Like, and all this stuff. I'm like, I take off like my tassets, you know what I mean? That are the ones that are cranking, and we're like, "We will stay very quiet," you know what I mean? And we will follow your instructions, you know what I mean? And it was just like, and this one witcher really didn't want us to go, okay? And we're like, no, we must go. And eventually he was like, "Okay, fine, you can come with us." And we were like, yes. So we head off with the witches, and we walk down this really long path out into the woods, okay? Like the main road bit out into the woods. And the witches are all talking, and they're like, "Follow our instructions," and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. And it's just like, and I'm like, "When you want us to throw a bomb, use the technical term, yeet. If you say yeet, we will yeet." And it was just like, okay, cool. And it's like, then we head out there, and then we find scat or something of Shrine of Rock Troll, and we're like, "Oh shit!" And then we start walking down there, and then they're like, then they release Rock Troll Scent or something, like the lure to bring it forward. and then we're all hanging out. And then out from behind us, a fucking rock troll, Ian.
Right.
A fucking 9 foot tall fucking rock troll comes out and just starts swinging at motherfuckers. And we're like, oh my god. So we're trying to keep the fuck out of its way, basically, because we've got steel swords. I think it needs silver swords.
Right.
The witches are doing lots of calls. I don't know all the different calls, but they're doing a lot of the Witcher calls, right? And they have like power levels, and they are doing their pieces. And every time their hands are swinging around and knocking witches left, right, and centre.
That's cool.
We yeet a bomb at it, it blows up, and then they carry on fighting it, and then we yeet another bomb at it, and then it blows up, and then we're like, we're out of bombs, okay? Yeah. And this rock troll ain't slowing down. So they carry on bashing this rock troll, and eventually the rock troll goes down. And we're like, oh my god, that was fucking cool and epic. And it was really cool seeing witches doing witcher business, right? Like, it's fucking witcher business.
Yeah.
They start harvesting the fucking rock troll for its innards and all that stuff, you know, like, I'll get this and it smells really bad and all this stuff. Then from behind us, like from the way we came, a shitload of Nilfgaardians. I think they were Nilfs. I wouldn't know they were butchers people. But like a load of baddies start coming up the road. And we're like, what the fuck is this? You know? And then they start yelling at us. And then the witches are like, we're all backing away. And then a fight breaks out. And we're fighting like... It felt like a lot of people we were fighting, okay?
Right.
And we're fighting this like... At first, we're trying to fight a fighting reverse. Bear in mind, I've got a shield and a sword and heavy armor, so I can hold myself pretty well in this fight, right? But we're fighting and we're withdrawing, and we're like, some of the witches are already starting to run, and we're trying to hold the line. And Callum, I'm like going to Callum, like, you got to go, you got to run. I will try and hold them back for you. And Callum starts running, and I'm trying to hold them off with Direwil. We're like trying to fight them off, and then I see a Witcher go down. Yeah. And there's no way we're getting to that Witcher, and we just have to do this fight and withdraw. And then we just turn and we run, okay? Right. And we're running, and it's getting darker and darker and darker. And we're running, and they're chasing us. I get hit on the shoulder, and I'm like, and I have to turn and fight again. And we're running, and then we break out onto this path through the woods. And at this point, in the woods, it's fucking dark, okay? The sun came down real fast. And it was like, we're running, and they're chasing us, and they're not giving up, okay? Like, we're being harried the whole way through. And me and Darwell are just fighting. But me and him did heroic fucking... Like, the rest of the witches were gone. Okay? Yeah. They were like, fuck this. And they were gone. And we're trying to, and Callum's running. And it's just like, he's running like a fucking hero. And it's just like... man, it was fucking rough. Like, oh my god. I've never thought that we're fucked. Like, we're gonna fucking die here. And then... there was a man down situation. Someone ran, and if you're running in the woods in the night and you're turning around a lot, basically hurt his ankle. This gave us actually a huge amount of respite and gave us an actual chance to get out
get your
there.
Breath back as well,
and like they took him home, carried him home. Luckily, we had actually made our way pretty close to the main camp at this point. Like, it was a fair old wreck, and we ran all this. It was so chaotic, but we managed to make it back, and we were just like, Witcher business is no joke. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is very serious. We must not take the piss out of the witches so much anymore. It is very serious work they do. We get back. I'm a hot, sweaty mess. And from the last Northern Kingdoms I went to, there was this wonderful witch hunter character. And witch hunters are the ones that go around and, like, get all the elves and the dwarves and the sorcerers and burn them in the fucking city square. And we came up with this really dumb song when we were on which was like the elves and dwarves are there, the elves and dwarves are there, why are they burning them? The elves and dwarves are there, the Dubois watching horror, the Dubois watching horror, why are they... Anyway, we go through this whole song. And the witch hunter came through, and we thought, we didn't know what he was going to do, and then he joined in and goes, the witch hunters are to blame. The witch hunters are... And he just joined in.
Because wasn't he like an ex-witch hunter?
Yeah, he's an ex-witch hunter full of remorse and kind of all this stuff. He died last event. Okay?
Oh, right.
So he was playing a new character. But the dude's fucking cool, right? And his camp setup, we
yeah.
just went up and were just like, hey, homie, you know, it's really good to see you. He was like, he had a full-on pot, and he was cutting vegetables down, putting them in the pot, had a beef and pork stew on the go, had a full salad bowl. Ellie's fucking vegan, so offered her fruit. We sat down with him. He gave us stew.
Amazing.
Oh my God. It was exactly what I needed. It was just so good to sit around. There's a nice picture actually of all of us sat around the campfire, and it's like, I'm eating this stew, we're eating stew, and it's just life-giving, and it was just like exactly what I needed. It's dark, and it's just like, it gave me so much energy about, like, those sort of players. I salute you. Just the best. Like, really, really good. Oh, I forgot there's one guy. The guy comes up to us. I didn't even write this on my notes. And he's just like, I'm in love with Captain Nico. Okay?
Right.
And Captain Nico is hard.
Yeah.
Okay? He's a tough person. And we're like, oh, you have, he's like, I know it's a hard thing, but, you know, I came to ask for advice. And we were like, tell her that your love for her is as deep as the ocean, and all this stuff, and
I love it.
all this stuff. And she had spoons. So one of the lines that Ellie came up with was, "It takes two to spoon."
Right.
Yes. So we're kind of terrible advice. He goes off. Later on, we found out it didn't go badly. Oh, he came up with this thing where he would do a roll and then present a spoon to her, and we were like, dude,
amazing.
The roll is great.
Yeah.
Like the roll. She might think that you were trying to attack her.
Right.
So
and then cut you down.
You might roll and then get your head cut off. But good luck. He used the spoon line, and the spoon line actually was the thing that actually did go well. Unfortunately, I don't think this ended in romance, but hey. You gotta roll that dice sometimes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You gotta follow your heart, and he followed his, and
amazing,
really good to interact with them. Yeah. Traders came along, and we are nobles. You get to pick a whole bunch of different stuff, and we picked like a lot of income for ourselves because we wanted to have money. Callum kicked into trader mode again and was just like,
he's very good at it.
He's
actually
very good at
you're
it.
very good at it as well.
Well, I'm good at selling stuff.
Yeah, you're a good seller.
He's very good at playing the get resources, sell resources game. He bought a lot of resources. We came in with Ellie as well and her crew, and they gave us money, and we were like, hey, put it into the pot, and then we'll fucking get resources. So we bought a lot of resources then, of different stuff. Like, not all of them are very useful necessarily, but like just
things you can trade
exactly.
for other things.
Or you don't know when you need them. Like, I don't know what Rebus does, but Rebus saved fucking Callum's life the day before and we didn't have any. Okay, so having some Rebus seems a pretty fucking good idea. We gave a bunch of them to Captain Portal, and we were just like, save us. You know, you've been doing it already, but come and save us. So that was really good. And that was a couple of NPCs. They came earlier on, or the day before, and set up that they were going to come again. Great interactions, hang around the camp, talking to the traders. That's when these villagers showed up.
Okay.
And they're holding like these little, the little doily people that you can make out of hay. Like the fucking the what's that movie called? Blair Witch shit.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were holding these doilies, okay? And they're like, we're gonna have a ceremony tonight. Okay. Would you like to come? Okay. And I'm like, I love a party. What's involved? And they're like, well, have a doily, right? And I'm like, oh, brilliant. So I take a doily, and they're like, and Ellie's like, you shouldn't, like, that might be cursed. You don't know. And it's like, I don't feel cursed. And it's just like I'm holding this doily, and everyone's like worried about the doilies, right? Like, doilies. I'll call them dollies.
Dollies, yeah.
But like, they're like, we're gonna have this this ceremony to a long time ago. There was this evil person who subjugated the land and killed loads of people.
Right.
And we go there and we burn these effigies of them and then celebrate the fact they're dead. Okay. And I'm like, I like burning stuff as well. And I'm saying to them, do you do this every year? And they're like, yeah. We did not bring any of our explosives, but next year maybe we could bring our explosives. We put they fire into the air and they burn in color and all this stuff. And they were like, that sounds amazing. I'm like, it is amazing. It is truly amazing. And they were like, I wanted to pick up fireworks, but I was too fucked up on the Friday to pick them up, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to definitely try and bring fireworks every time I go, basically. But we then go, like, some time passes and then they're like, oh, it's when you see the bonfire burning, come along. And then it was time. So we all headed over there. And all of us, because it's Northern Kingdoms, everyone's expecting this thing just to turn into a violent thing. There's loads of villagers there, and they're all... I can't remember the name of the person, but they kept on yelling, like, death to her, and, like, burn Vecnu, something like that, whatever it was. And they walk up there, they say a line, and then throw the dolly on there and burn it, okay?
Right.
And then some people are like, hold on, like, this seems a bit dodgy. I go up there, and I'm like, fuck the Nilfgaardians! And they're like, fuck the Nilfs! And I burn my fucking effigy thing. And then, basically, it turned out that this person may well have been an elf, and there's something about that it might be bad that we are burning effigies to burn elves, and it might be like a part of a plot that's like hatred for elves or whatever.
Okay, right.
But obviously, I like going in and just getting involved in that sort of thing, so I burnt my effigy. Sure. Some people didn't burn their effigies.
That wasn't the spirit that your character did it with.
And Jean-Michel Dubois loves the people and wants to learn about customs and what they do for fun and all this stuff, and he really enjoyed it. So that was a really cool, pretty intense, pretty fucking Wicker Man-y shit. Like in this, and also the location they had, like, it was just around the back. It was like a natural little dug-in amphitheater into the ground. So there's a fire pit with like standing area. It was a fucking cool location. Then it was a scout place, by the way. That it was a scout camping site, so I think that's what the scouts used.
Sure.
So we go back, hang out, and we just have good times, like hanging out with the other players, having some chats. We kind of went a bit OC towards the end, and it was nice getting some feedback. I was like going, I was saying to one of them, like, oh, it's tough, like, sometimes playing a comedy character. He was like, I don't consider the Dubois to be comedy characters. Yeah. And that's like one of the nicest things that you could possibly say, because it was like, you feel a bit silly, but like, there's depths to the Dubois now. Like, they're kind of three-dimensional characters. It's fun. But yeah, really loved hanging out with people, having some drinks, having some good times.
You've had a really intense time up until now, and like, so it's like having a bit of like brevity and time to chill out, and also time to check in with people. I think is actually really valuable.
Really good, really good. Like even people like Gomi, for example, the guy that cheated the thing on Facebook. He was just like, IC hate the Dubois. Yeah. OC love them. Like it's just like it's really cool. And I just think like Northern Kingdoms has a culture of just, it's great. Yeah. The people are really nice. People take their RP seriously, but in a really inclusive way. Like, if you're engaging with the game and having a good time with it, like, engaging in the game, right? Then people really appreciate that. And, I can't say nicer things about the players or the crew or the organisers. They were just magnificent. Right, Sunday. We get, wake up, we get our results from our new escapades.
Indeed. The Knights of
Dubois. Everything went really well. The Landschnaits came up to us and they used the explosive to blow up the dock area on the ferry. Right. And it worked really well, and they absolutely massacred them. And as a way of saying thank you, they only had one, but they gave us a Landschnait badge to say thank you, and that they are friends of ours.
Amazing.
And I was even like going to Tor. I was just like, "Who is your commander?" And they were like, "Oh, our commander is Nico." And I was like, "Damn it, we will never have command of you." You know what I mean? Like, I want those I love them. They're so good. But no, we've got the cavalry, and it's awesome. But until the other guy comes back, whoever was commanding them last time. But really loved that part of the game. Loved how the NPCs reacted to us, how they were like, how the bomb worked well, and we gave up. And bear in mind, a bomb is a big deal, right? Yeah. Like, it's not something that, like, we get to do it as part of our main skill. the actual resource to make a bomb are a lot. To actually make them normally is a big deal. So really fucking cool. We were talking about trying to get donkeys for the Knights of Dubois, so they can be donkey riders.
Amazing.
Which would be funny. I don't know how that would work practically. I can't think of a practical use for donkeys,
right.
But the idea of our knights all riding donkeys is a really amazing looking thing and like really fun. And I don't know. We need to think about it. I don't know. We'll see. But and all the crew are reporting back what we're saying, you know, and obviously they're getting our letters of all the kiss and the little kiss, you know, all this stuff. We ended up writing ours a letter, congratulating them on how good they did and how proud of them that we are, and we gave them money. We gave them some coin, and we're like, listen, we know that you deserve to have great riches. Unfortunately, we can't do that. To have some coin and buy a round of drinks on us type thing.
Yeah.
Turns out no one else has written a letter after the effect to their thing or given them money.
Right.
So we're like, you know, but the Dubois pay their respects. You know what I mean? You know. So we hear that this butcher guy is in the local area. So we all gear up and start heading off into the woods. And then we find out that like we go into the woods and they're like, oh, he's not here. Right. There's something happening back at the camp. So we will have to come back into the camp, and we're being attacked by a huge amount of people. And like, we also got attacked a couple of times in the camp as well. Like the stew last night almost got affected, which was very traumatic because I was like, oh no, the stew. Have they no decency? You were making the stew. We get into this big fucking fight. Okay,
right.
Fighting. Oh my god, me and this guy, I think it was the guy who was the new LARPer guy. He must do some sort of reenaction or something. But me and him, you know, in the movies where two people are fighting and then they spin around and they swap targets and they fight the other guy?
Yeah.
Me and him did that for reals. Yeah. And I never thought that was real, but me and him did that, and it was fucking incredible to be like just a fighting, and without saying anything, you just switch targets and start fighting the other guy. Fucking incredible, dude. Like, amazing fighting. My brother gets stabbed up pretty badly. He got, I think, a fucking cave troll fucking comes into the camp and just starts wrecking people. Right. And then he's batting people around. And Jean-Luc's the dead brother. Jean-Paul.
Yeah.
He gets hit. I'm one ahead of him on traumatic wounds.
Yeah.
I'm like saying to him, you have to catch up type thing, because I'm already on 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
He gets 2 in one hit. He gets given 2 in one hit. Yeah, exactly. Pick me right at the fucking end. So he's like really fucked up, and I'm like, oh my god, we need to get you back, whatever. And then this mage comes out and starts going, Dubois, and I'm like, which Dubois are you talking about? I'm Jean-Michel, he's Jean-Paul, or whatever. And then he goes, you must fight your brother to the death, and does magic to us. And
what?
I'm like, no, you're going to do this. So then Callum starts coming out to me and going like, with his ball dagger and sword and shield, being like, I must kill you. And I'm like, no. And then it's like, but luckily, he's already critically wounded. So he takes like 5 or 6 steps towards me and then just collapses on the ground, bleeding out. And I'm like, oh, thank God. We have to get a physic. So I run off. I try and get... they all congregate in this little group. The baddies all congregate in this group. So the last thing I do is I spark a fucking explosive and I'm just, suck on this! And I throw it into them. I don't even see it go off. I just run down. I'm like yelling for a physic to come with me. And the physics are all like, bring him here. And I'm like, no, he is dying. You must come with me now. And they're like, no. So I run back up the hill again. Bear in mind I'm wearing full plate. I'm exhausted. But luckily there were a few people there who were really good, and they helped us try and carry him back, and we have to fight our way through this thing.
Sure.
We get him back, I go off and fight, and then I forgot, we even went to rescue the Witcher that got downed the night before, and that was a crazy fucking fight. But anyway, we fight off this attack on Sunday, and we capture the Butcher, and I run back, and my brother's fine, he survived, they healed him. And then it turns out that one of the witches had betrayed us.
What?
So he had made, basically, they had kidnapped someone he knew, and that's why we got ambushed when we were in the woods, because he had given us away. Oh, there was loads of stuff to do with spies and people like double-crossing people.
Very spicy.
And there were like people like, oh, let them bleed to death, they're a spy. And everyone was like, are you sure they're a spy? And it's like, yeah, they're definitely a spy, let them die. Like, should we heal them and question them? All this stuff's going on over the weekend, by the way. Really interesting. But yeah, so we are like, oh god, I've missed so many bits. But like, so we go up to this Witcher, and it's like, we start giving him shit, okay? And then someone says to us, like, what would you do if your brother was captured and they need you something? I say I would make a very large explosive, and I would blow him up as well as the people that are keeping him captive. And comes like, thank you, brother. I wish to die in your boom. And it was like, it's like, yes. And then we hugged, and it was just like, they're like, well, that's very nice of you guys, but he wanted to save his friend or whatever. And it's like, well, yeah. Well. Anyway, we're yelling at the Witcher, okay? Like, and then the Witcher's like, all right, I'm sorry. And he's like, and we're like, oh, okay. All you need to do is apologise. And we call the dogs off. You know what I mean? Like, and we were right up in his grill yelling at him, and he just said sorry, and we're like, okay, fair enough. And it was just like them carried on. Also, I should mention, Beau Duval, the fucking Tucson noble.
Yeah.
My brother had challenged him to a duel.
What?
Because of his poor behaviour.
Right.
And he had refused the duel.
Interesting.
So when we got back, and basically he was the one who had basically brought us into this trap, and was the one that kind of like had messed up stuff with the hag.
Right.
So I walked over there, and me and him just screamed at each other. Like, someone said, like, they almost got, like, deafened by being caught in the middle of us two yelling at each other. I was screaming at him. He was screaming at me. We were like, yelling insults at each other. He's calling me a peasant. I'm saying his wine tastes like piss. You know what I mean? Like, we just screaming at each other. I want to mention that just because, like, there's some stuff later on. But, the Witcher Betrayal was really cool. Like, this whole aspect of, like, you don't know who you can trust, you know? Like... and it's just it's great. We caught the butcher, okay, and they dragged the butcher through, and then we're like, cut his balls off, yeah, cut his balls off, and we're yelling, and everyone's yelling at me. There's a proper like angry mob vibe to the whole thing. And they tie him up to a tree, and they get like I think it's the person that's in charge of the whole company, who's like an NPC character, and they're like. We have this trial thing, and then he gets found guilty, and the butcher is defiant to the very end. He's saying, like, what's the difference between you, the free company, and me? You're all murderers. Like, you act like you're so high and mighty. And I'm like, we don't murder anyone. Like, and the Bois don't. Like, the Bois are actually pretty legit, but there are a lot of grey.
It's a mercenary company.
There's some grey folks in the mercenary company, right? But then eventually, after this thing, we're yelling at him. Eventually, they say that they're gonna. Oh, they cut off his hand,
right,
as punishment. And they have the whole thing where they hold him down, and then it's like they have a fake hand. They pop the fake hand off with blood. It was really good. Like you know, like any of that sleight of hand stuff works really well at LARP.
That's cool.
Cut his hand off, and then they drag him off, and they're going to question him. He's definitely coming back. At some point, like 100%. Like he didn't die, he's coming back 100%. But, and that kind of like wraps things up there. But like, so one thing I wanted to do that I just want to touch on before we close out is I got my fate token, and one of the things that we were walking towards the troll thing was I was like going, can I use my token to ram a explosive down the troll's mouth and explode them from the inside? And he was like, that's an amazing idea. But I need to tell like the guy in the suit and everyone else that you're going to do that before you even attempt it. So you can't do it now, but maybe we can do it in the future. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But this left me with, I've got a fate token.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with this? Turns out you can use your fate token in downtime.
Oh, right.
I haven't sent off my downtime yet.
Right.
But
you got some spicy ideas for your fate token.
Callum, I'm going to talk about it now.
Yeah.
And then please bear in mind, I haven't written this yet, but I just want to talk to my best friend about what I'm going to do. So we're going to try and sneak down into Tucson where Beau Duval is. And we're going to do a reverse Godfather on him. We're going to take a donkey
Right.
and take it into the room, cut its head off, and just leave the rest of the donkey in his bed, and write coward, liar, I don't know, whatever. Like, we're going to write insults on him. Yeah. And then what I want to do is I want to get like a bag, like a leather bag or something, and then put a timed fuse in it and fill it full of shit.
Right.
And then light it, and then think about maybe we drug him in some way. We pay off a member of staff,
sure,
so he doesn't wake up, and we sneak in a donkey into the house.
Yeah.
Me the Dubois sneaking a donkey into the house type thing. It's be a really funny scene.
Yeah.
And then basically send this guy a fucking message not to fuck with the Dubois. Do you know what I mean? Next time we tell your dad, because he's really scared of his dad, this is what we want to do. And it's I think I'm going to use my fate token
to make it
pull off this
heist.
Like a reverse heist. We're going to put, instead of a horse's head in his bed, we're going to put a donkey's ass in his bed.
Right.
To let him know that he is an ass. It's like a metaphor, right?
Yeah,
he was going to rue the fucking day he crossed the Dubois. Fuck that. We hold a grudge for reals.
That's great.
Fucking magnificent event. Really, really good. I hope it comes across how much I enjoyed it.
It sounds incredible.
Yeah.
It sounds incredible. I mean, I was super gutted I couldn't go, but
it's I've been so lucky going to some top draw fucking LARPs.
Yeah.
Northern Kingdoms is one of the best LARPs in the world. I have no doubt whatsoever that is a true statement, because they are absolutely great at what they do. The crew are fucking amazing. The players are brilliant. It's so engaging, so compelling. It makes my imagination run wild with the possibilities. I can't wait for another one. And the next one is going to be in a fucking cave.
Amazing.
A cave system.
Oh my god, that sounds so cool.
Yeah. Tickets are already sold out, unfortunately, but I'm going to go to a cave complex in London. We can't use explosives down there because of mainly because of the how loud it will be. Because you're going to be in caves and it'll be definitely loud. There's also a museum there, which so there's some conversation about when we can use smokes in case people think it's an actual fire down in the cave.
Right, sure.
But they're going to come up with something else. I'm really curious about what they come up with for us, what it's going to be like. There are going to be bunk beds down there.
Wow, that's really cool.
It's going to be fucking nuts, dude. Yeah. So,
and you've got some bonker stuff on the way, because you're going to a LARP in Spain.
Yeah, I've got one in Spain that I've signed up for. That looks really amazing. And then I've got one that I've signed up for. I haven't been confirmed yet in the Czech Republic, near Prague. And
you've got Flying Dead coming up.
I'm spending all my money in one of the worst financial crises in the country, and I am just doing my pieces on LARP at the moment
and having a great time by the
But I'm absolutely loving it. It's a real privilege to be in the situation I am and to be able to play the games I am with the people I am and the systems I'm playing. Just incredible, dude. Very, very lucky, very fortunate. Should we wrap it up?
We should do.
Thank you very much to our patrons. Again, we had to use more batteries today, so we really appreciate that. Yeah. I'm at the moment banking the money for the patrons at the moment. I don't know what I'm doing with it, but it feels like I'm saving up for something. I feel like we should have a trip somewhere to go and do some LARP stuff. I don't know. But the thing is, genuinely, I'm fucking broke.
Yes, I'm very broke.
So I might need to actually dip into the Patreon just to fucking get going to LARPs and stuff. That's where it's at right now, right? Unfortunately, that's where we're at. The world is annoying and frustrating. But so again, if you at all have to think about donating to our Patreon, don't.
Yeah.
We want
look after yourselves.
We want your spare change. We do not want something that in any way you feel like you can't afford, right? And we've lost a few patrons recently because of that. So this is why I want to mention it now. Please don't feel any pressure. We'll be fine. You know what I mean? We'll we really appreciate the patrons. They make things significantly easier. But again, only give to the Patreon if you can afford it. And but I don't know. Both, we really appreciate the people that do, but also don't feel any pressure if you do. So if that makes any sense.
All the things.
Right, thank you so much. The Flying Lead will be next. Flying Lead Nightmare in a month.
Dave's LARPing adventures are coming thick and fast.
Mate, it's going to be a big one too. It's going to be fucking...
I'm so excited.
I have a lot to talk about with Flying Lead before we even get to the LARP.
I'm so excited.
Fucking hell. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you all. Stay safe. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.